Hi there, so today's video is my December updates video, which should have been the end of November update video, but I'm late. So I'm doing it now, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is my Coryanthes speciosa. So my Coryanthes speciosa died. I think the issue is that I repotted it too deeply. As you can see here, it's a little bit, these pseudobulbs are lower than these guys. Even though I tried to create space around this one with not much media, still didn't do well. I think when I initially potted it up, I thought it was a little too high, so this time I wanted to pot it a little deeper, but that caused issues. So as you can see, these guys are rotted a little bit. Well, not a little bit, they're rotted. And the rhizome is squishy. These pseudobulbs at the top, they're not rotted, but they've been completely depleted. This is pretty unfortunate because I had two newer pseudobulbs that were doing pretty well, but they're not doing. But then they just fell off, and then all this happened. So this really sucks. So another thing that's new is I got rid of two of my plants. I got rid of the Dendrobium kingianum and my Schomburgkia schultzii. So at the end of November, the Orchid Society had a Christmas party and auction, and I still have some plants on my wish list, but I'm kind of at capacity in terms of how many plants I can take care of right now. So I decided those are the ones I don't really want to take care of, so I donated them to the auction, and I won a plant. I won the Restrepia guttalata. So this is exciting. This is my first Restrepia. It's already potted up, so I don't need to worry about that. I think the flowers are pink and spotted, so if I can get this to bloom, that'll be very, very exciting. And before I start the rest of the video, I just want to say thank you to Karina. Her channel is Fifi on YouTube. She sent me this very generous bag of barley seeds so that I can grow some cat grass for my cats, which would hopefully help them, or hopefully prevent them from destroying more plants. So again, thank you, Karina. I appreciate you sending this to me, and I'll definitely plant them soon. You probably noticed that I don't have that tray of plants on my table anymore, and that's because my Bulbophyllum was growing a spike, and I didn't want to risk getting that chewed off by the cats. So I decided to utilize this other shelf. So the last update you saw my plant on this shelf, and now I have an additional shelf with the plants, so I'll show you what's going on up there. So as I said, my Bulbophyllum sulawesii is in spike. This is very exciting. This is the first time I've ever rebloomed a Bulbophyllum. I had initially thought maybe I wasn't doing the right thing because I didn't see anything last year. But I noticed when I was watering it, there's a small brown thing growing, and then I realized it was a spike. So I'm very, very excited to see this bloom. So this is my Vanda testacea. It lost a leaf. Basically what happened was I watered it. So I watered it by dunking it in a bucket, and then I used a tissue to wipe out the water between the leaves. And when I did that, I broke the longest leaf, and now it's missing one. So that's kind of the update on this plant. I was kind of hoping to see more growth. I know it's capable of growing a new root because it tried, but it got munched off. So yeah. So my Neofinetia Kutsuwamushi has a new leaf growing at the top, and it's starting to actually grow the two new fans at the bottom there. At first I wasn't sure if they were flower spikes, but I'm pretty sure now that they will be new fans. Side note, a katydid is a type of cricket. So this is my RLC Chian-Tzy Goldenorange. This actually came by surprise. It's the first Cattleya I've ever bloomed. It's not my first Cattleya I've ever owned, though. And when I initially saw the buds, I saw two. And then more recently, I saw another one coming out from the bottom there. So I have 3 flowers. It was very exciting. I was not expecting this to bloom at all. Because the leaf and pseudobulb were quite small. But I'm pretty happy that it blooms. So that's great. So the blooms on my Ctsm hybrid are fading now. It was such a beautiful show. I really, really love the fimbriated lips. If you also like fimbriated lips, I really recommend getting this hybrid. It's from Sunset Valley Orchids. I have 3 new growths on my Sievkingia fimbriata. I'm really hoping these will grow to be bigger than any of the previous growths I ever had. So here's hoping to that. So this is my Chysis laevis. I know you're supposed to reduce watering in the winter time, but I have like a new growth there, and this one appears to be like a keiki. I have had this keiki for a while, but since things are growing, I'm kind of keeping up with the normal watering. I want these guys to do well, so that's the reason why I'm doing that. If anyone has any advice on what I should do at this point, I'd like to know. Yeah. This is my Sophronitis cernua. Its new growth is starting to open its leaf. I don't think there's anything inside though. This is my Phalaenopsis fimbriata. In the last little while, I saw some activity on this spike here. I don't think it's a new bud yet, but definitely something is happening. So this is my Phalaenopsis amboinensis. I'm having some nutrient deficiency issues. As you can probably tell, the edges of the leaves are a lot lighter than the middle of the leaf. I think maybe because I'm not feeding enough. I know I had tried lowering the amount of fertilizer since I'm playing around with the pH now, but I'm starting to feel like that's, at least for this guy, he needs more fertilizer, at least right now. So I've bumped up the amount of fertilizer to like, I think 280 ppm. And that's based on what I read at the First Raise website. So I'm giving that a shot. I know before I had like 300 ppm when I was initially following the direction, so I don't think it's gonna cause any problems, but that's what I'm trying right now. I will say though, I don't think this plant is dying anytime soon. There's quite a few active growing root tips, so I think this one will be okay. So this is my Paphina rugosa. I think the last time I showed this, it had 2 buds growing, but they have since dried up, so I won't be seeing any flowers on this for a little while now. I think it's because it hasn't really quite established itself yet. Like, I don't think there's a lot of new roots in there, so maybe there's not enough energy to sustain those 2 buds. But next time. So this is my Coryanthes misasii. This one is doing really well. It's maturing those 2 growths, and there's a new one starting there at the bottom. And this is my Phalaenopsis NOID, the one with the sunset colors, pink and yellow, and it's maturing its flower spike. So this is my Rodriguezia lemanii. I had tied down the root because I was hoping it would stick to the mount, but the root just keeps growing kind of outward, so I like for this to branch out soon. It also has a new growth starting right there. And I also see something in there. I'm not sure if it's a new growth, but there's something. I can't recall if it was there before or not. So like my other Neofinetia, this Neofinetia hakucho is also starting to grow new fans. So my Oncidium Twinkle Yellow Fantasy is starting to fatten up its buds. This is my Masdevallia NOID. I think last time I mentioned I thought this was going to die, but actually it's doing pretty well. It's growing new leaves. I'm still having issues with scale on this guy. I'm kind of spraying it with a horticultural oil. Not sure how that's going to turn out. This guy seems to always have scale, and I'm having issues dealing with that. So this is my Ascocentrum Pulcherrimin. It seems to be growing new leaves, like constantly, but not really maturing yet. So one major update to my setup is I got a heat mat, and that's just to help my new acquisitions and any plants that haven't really rooted properly root a little bit better. So some of these are the black-haired dendrobiums, and some of them require a rest, and some of them don't. I am not resting any of them this year, only because they don't have any, well, some of them don't have any roots, so I'd rather they kind of grow their roots, and then next year I'll rest them. So this is my Dendrobium formosum, and there appears to be a little bump growing there. It might be a keiki. This is my Trichocentrum albococcinum, and as you can see there, it has a new growth, so that's very exciting. This is my Dendrobium cruentum, and it's maturing that growth there, and it's starting another new growth. And if you can see that little bump on that pseudobulb right in the middle, that's a keiki. I think it was there before, but it's not really doing much. And it's also maturing this bud here. So this is my Dendrobium Sherry Abe. It's maturing its new growth, and it's growing nice and fat, which is a good sign. It seems like it's growing quite well. So this is my Phalaenopsis cornu-cervi variation Chatelade. Similar to the Phalaenopsis amboinensis, it has a lighter margin around the leaves, so this leaves me a little bit concerned. This is my Chelanostele sulfurea. The flowers have died. Having a bit of trouble keeping this watered. I've been watering it once a week, but I guess it's needs more water now because of the new growths and also the humidity, and I didn't realize. So the pseudobulbs are a little bit shriveled, but I'm trying to keep up the watering with this guy. This is my Vanda Rodriguezia. I'm sure you can tell by the shadow there, but it's growing a new leaf, so that's great. This is my Rhynchorides Bangkok Sunset, and its new root is growing pretty well. I do think it's a little bit too close to the light, as I'm seeing a lot of purpling on the newest leaf. I don't have anywhere else to put it right now, though, so that's kind of a problem. This is Bulbophyllum Princess Bajaratana. It's maturing its new growth. This is my Arides quinquevilnera. The leaves are still crooked from shipping, I think. But the roots are growing pretty well. I have a lot of new root tips. I had originally wanted to put it on a mount and then put it inside a vase to help keep with the humidity. But it seems to be doing kind of pretty good actually in this cup here. I mean, the cup's not the prettiest thing to look at, but gets the job done. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it yet. This is my Doricentrum Pulcherrimin. Has a new leaf. This is my Ascocentrum ampullaceum crossed with Christinsonianum, and it also has a new leaf. Okay, so that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!